So you're considering buying a radial arm saw, or maybe a friend or an uncle or someone you know has offered you their saw and said, hey, I've got this in my basement, don't use it much. Do you want it? Don't do it. At least not till you watch this video. So we're going to cover what you need to know to make a decision on that radial arm saw, and if you have one, how to operate it safely. So let's get to it. Hey, Ray Ruthin here. Welcome back to the Woodcrafting Place, where we bring you woodworking knowledge and information to help your woodworking every week. So make sure if you like what you see today, hit the thumb, like, and subscribe. That way you get notified of all the content that we bring you. So you're considering a radial arm saw, or you have one and you don't use it much. We're going to cover what you need to know. Now, some of this stuff may be a little controversial. The information that's going to be here will hopefully help you guide your decision. So, and at the end, watch to the very end, we're going to have a bonus tip for you all the way at the end. All right, so in full disclosure, I've only owned a radial arm saw for about 7 years. I've been woodworking now for 45 years, and I get very little use out of it. So there's your first hint of all the woodworking tools I have in my shop. Machines at least, this is probably the one that gets used the least. So let's cover real quick what it is, how to use it. So what is a radial arm saw? It's essentially, as you can see behind me, stationary machinery, and it has a carriage on it. Pulls out. The wood is stationary, and you feed, as you saw, the blade into it. So on its face, you would think radial arm saw is a great saw. It cross cuts, the blade rotates, it goes at an angle, the whole arm rotates at an angle so you can pull out. You know, seems like it's a pretty good tool. So it's really in the method that the blade and the wood interact that makes it problematic. In the table saw, the blade is rotating and most of the mechanics are enclosed underneath the table. You'll see in the video of how the table saw works compared to how the radial arm saw works. And you can see that as I am doing my cut, I've got all of the mechanics right here. I'm giving a hug of this spinning blade. When that blade is spinning, it's kind of scary. So keep that in mind. Take your time and use these carefully. Like any tool, if you use the right safety precautions, you can keep from getting injured. And I've seen videos where guys claim that this is a safer tool than the other because there's no kickback, and it's true if you're cross-cutting like a miter saw, there isn't the risk of kickback, but that's true of the table saw too. Kickback is a phenomenon strictly for ripping. So with a radial arm saw, to do a rip cut, you can see how the blade is turned like this. And you can turn it both directions, this way and turn it around. But to feed it, you actually have to take, and you can see how I'm feeding my arm in. Well, I'm not going to make a cut. And to be honest with you, I've never made a rip cut on a radial arm saw, nor would I ever want to. And you'll see why. You can see my arm feeding in here. You can see how precarious it is. Now, this blade is rotating this way, clockwise. So if it was to pinch right in here, this wood would get sent right back toward me. Okay, I want to go into some detail on the blade so that way you have a good understanding of what it is that the saw blade should have. Okay, so let's go to the whiteboard here. You can see on our diagram we have two sets of teeth on the saw blades. The top one is a positive rake angle, and the bottom one is a negative rake angle. If we draw a line through the center of the saw blade, as indicated by the red arrow, and then we do the corresponding line following the tooth face, this is a positive rake angle. You see how it leans in front of the tooth in the direction of rotation. Now if we do the same thing on the negative rake angle, we draw a line indicated by the red for the center of the blade, and then the corresponding tooth face angle, we see that it leans backward. That way it's actually following the center line. This is a negative rake angle. This is a much less aggressive bite. Will cause the blade to climb far less than the positive rake angle above will. This is the blade you want for a radial arm saw. You never use the positive rake angle. So what does that mean? You'll see in the video. And as I get through that wood, it jumps and grabs. So I've got a positive rake angle blade set up on the saw. Now I'm doing this just for demonstration. Do not try this. Through, wait for it, bam! There it goes, jumped right up into the wood. You can find a listing of the materials in the saw blade that we used in this video down below in the description. These are affiliate links. They provide a small contribution to help support this channel. So there's another option which you may be wondering about. Well, if the positive rake causes a problem with climbing, why don't you just cut from the outside and cut in? Not a safe way to use the saw. Right, so you're wondering, so what's a radial arm saw good for? It's good for cross-cutting. Really, it's what the engineers that designed these things meant for it to do. Remember what we said about negative, positive rake angle. Datas are all going to be positive rake. In the hands of a brand new, inexperienced woodworker, I don't recommend it as a good tool. Even with a negative rake blade on it, as I cut, I can still feel blade wanting to keep moving forward. Unlike a table saw,
you had one job. Just the one?
So if your uncle says, hey, why don't you take that saw in the basement, I hardly ever use it anymore, thank him profusely and let him know that, hey, you really don't have room in your shop right now. Okay, so we're going to go over a tip for cleaning your saw blades. So you have some blade that looks something like this, loaded up with gunk. The thing about the residue on a saw blade from wood, which is the primary thing that piles up on the surface, you see it here, is it's pine, pitch, it's resin, organic material. So solvents like mineral spirits or MEK or acetone don't work as well on organic material. So what you want to use are some kind of a cleaning agent that has citrus in it. So just soaking it in this cleaner, 15 minutes at a clip. Soak it, come back to it. Now, do not leave it in there overnight or long term, okay? Because these teeth are all brazed into a steel disc. And I can't guarantee that this won't attack the brazing and weaken the teeth and ruin the blade. Okay, so there's nothing magical about what we're doing here. I'm literally just gonna Surround this with cleaner. Now that one side is fully soaked, flip it over. Okay, give it 15. We'll be back. Well, I'm using a stainless steel brush. It is, and I suspect that I will need another 15 minutes for this. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. Let's give it a look here. Now it's stuck in the water. Alright, here we go. Nice clean blade. Now, but you can see the glint of the shiny tooth there, and the shiny edges of the teeth. And this blade is now ready to go back into service. Alright, just a little follow-up. I went back and hit the blade with just a little mineral spirits and the wire brush. Gave it a quick once over, and you can see pretty much all of the white plastic is gone. So the blade's nice and clean. So if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the thumb and like, and don't forget to subscribe. That way you get notified each week of all the content that we bring you and all the tips and to improve your woodworking knowledge and make your time in the shop more enjoyable, more efficient. We will see you again in the next video. Cheers!